And now, Effective Communication with Phil Zeller, CEO, Dale Carnegie, Southwest Michigan.
Do you ever question if people take you seriously? When they're listening to you, when you're talking, do they take you seriously? It's amazing how often subconsciously we think about that, and we're asking ourselves, are they buying what I'm saying, right? You've probably been in this situation. Well, yeah, I haven't probably. I know you've been in this situation. Every human being is in this situation all the time. And nothing more came clear to me with understanding this than the first time I got into radio. And I remember I was on NPR, National Public Radio in the United States. And of course, we had a very lean budget on NPR, and I was cutting shows, and I had a producer. And as time went on, the budgets got cut. And all of a sudden, she came to me one day, and she said, Phil, I'm sorry, I got bad news for you. You're going to have to produce your own show. And I'm like, pray tell, what does that include? And she said, well, after you have a interview with somebody and have them on your show and talk with them, it requires you to go into the system and clean up the show. And I said, I don't know what that means. We'll have to get an education here, right? So she sat me down at this big console, and she showed me how to use the software and how to go in and edit and play back. And it's amazing what a great producer can do. So thank you, Alex, for being a great producer. And it's amazing what a great producer can do for a show, because as I watched all the things she did to make people sound clear, more confident in what they were saying, the things that she would edit, the things that she would be able to take out, the things that she would be able to bring together, it was absolutely amazing. And I watched her do this. She said, we do this to make it better for the listener. Now, interesting enough, as I'm watching this, I'm saying, I don't know how to do this. And she said, I'm going to teach you. So she taught me how. And I was apparently a pretty good student, because after a couple of weeks, she said, Phil, I'm sorry to say this. You're on your own, partner. You not only have to produce your own show, of course, run it, interview people, but then you have to go and edit it and get it ready for production to go out on the air. And wow, what a job, what a lot of work to do. And as I did that, I realized how much time it takes to make somebody sound really, really good. Now, with that, I would spend anywhere from a day to 2 days, sometimes 2.5 days, on a half an hour show just to try to make the person sound more confident, easier for you, the listener, to listen to. And I'm telling you, I try it sometime. It is not easy. It is challenging. But the biggest thing I realized in this, and listening to this and doing this, and I didn't do it for that long because it was so time-consuming for me, and I just didn't have the time to dedicate to it, but it gave me a whole new respect for understanding how listeners listen to other people. And editors know this because they listen to the shows. Like my producer here, Alex, listens to all the shows, and he can tell you, hey, Phil, at the end of the show, that was really good. We got it in a single cut. That's great. Other times they're like, no, we could do better, right? But that being said, when you're producing the shows, you're trying to remove the ums, the ahs, the gray language, kind of, maybe, sort of, wishy-washy stuff. And so my challenge to you is this. If you want to feel more confident, people to take you more seriously, go ahead and record yourself. Record yourself. Just do it. Just record yourself in the conversation. And then listen to the conversation afterwards. Were you smooth? Did you transition well? Did your communication make sense? Did you use words that were strong, that people understood? Or were they kind of maybe wishy-washy words? Or were there a lot of which absolutely drives listeners nuts? You know what I'm talking about because you're listening to the show. That would drive you nuts if I did that all the time. And occasionally, sometimes you use it for an effect, but not that often. The pause, as I've shared with you before on previous shows, is a much better way for effect. Just take a pause if you can't find the words in the moment. The power of the pause. So with that being said, my challenge to you, my friends, for people to take you more seriously, go ahead, record yourself, listen to yourself, and ask yourself, if you're somebody else listening to this person talk, is it interesting? Does it make sense? Does it feel like they know what they're talking about? Have they been there before? Have they done this? And ask these questions to yourself. And when you go through this exercise, what you'll find is that you'll start to change the way that you communicate. You'll use more definitive words, more solid words, more confident words to project yourself as somebody who knows what you're talking about so that people will take you more seriously. So my friends, go ahead, record yourself, listen to yourself, remove the wishy-washy, remove the gray language, and you, my friends, will be a more confident communicator in all of your communication. Now go make it happen.